In a quiet valley, nestled among hills covered in soft green grass, lived a young dragon named Ember. Now, you might think of dragons as mighty beasts with roars that shake the mountains and fire that scorches the sky. But Ember was different. He didn't roar loudly or breathe huge, fearsome flames. Instead, when he tried, his fire came out in gentle, twinkling sparks, like a handful of fireflies taking flight. His great wings, which could have carried him across the sky, usually stayed neatly folded at his sides. You see, Ember was very, very shy. Each day, he would watch the other animals of the valley from behind a large, mossy rock near the entrance to his cave. He saw the rabbits with their twitching noses, hopping playfully through the clover. He watched the birds as they sang their cheerful melodies from the branches of tall oak trees. He observed the graceful deer as they bent their necks to drink cool, clear water from the winding stream. Ember longed to join them, to be part of their world. But whenever he even thought about stepping out from behind his rock and saying hello, his heart would start to beat like a drum, thump, thump, thump. A wave of worry would wash over him. What if I scare them? He would whisper to himself, his voice barely a puff of smoke. What if they run away? So, to avoid that feeling, Ember stayed alone, a silent watcher in his own beautiful home. One cool, crisp morning, as the sun was just beginning to peek over the hills, Ember heard a tiny, faint sound just outside his cave. Chirp! Chirp! It was a weak and trembling sound. Curiosity won over his shyness just for a moment. He peeked his head out from the darkness of his cave and saw a small brown bird sitting on the dewy ground, shivering. One of its delicate wings was bent at an odd angle. It was hurt. Ember's heart immediately went out to the little creature. He felt that familiar nervousness creep in, but this time he didn't turn away. He knew he had to do something. Slowly, ever so slowly, he stepped out into the morning light. He took a deep breath, and with all the control he could muster, he breathed the softest, gentlest flame he had ever made. It wasn't a fire to burn, but a fire to warm. A soft golden light surrounded the little bird, wrapping it in a cozy blanket of warmth. The bird stopped shivering. It looked up at the big, kind dragon and chirped again, this time happily. A small, genuine smile spread across Ember's face. He stayed with the bird, keeping it warm and safe, until it felt strong enough to try its wing again. When it finally took flight, it didn't just fly away. It circled high above Ember's head, dipping its wings in a clear gesture of thank you before soaring off into the blue sky. The very next day, something surprising and wonderful happened. As Ember sat near his cave, a brave little rabbit hopped closer than ever before, its nose twitching not in fear, but in curiosity. Then a deer, followed by its fawn, came to the stream and didn't immediately bolt when it saw Ember. Word had spread through the valley, carried on the wings of a grateful little bird. They had all heard about the kind dragon with the gentle fire. Ember still felt shy. That fluttery feeling in his chest hadn't gone away completely. But he stayed still and calm, remembering the happy chirp of the bird. He took a soft breath and warmed the patch of grass in front of him, making it a cozy spot to rest. And the animals didn't run away. They stayed. As the days turned into weeks, Ember grew braver. He learned to use his unique gifts to help his new friends. At night, he would send his gentle sparks floating up into the sky, lighting up the valley like a canopy of glowing stars for everyone to enjoy. He shared quiet moments, listening to the birds sing and watching the rabbits play. No longer from behind a rock, but right there with them. He learned that he didn't need to be loud or fierce to belong. He just needed to be himself. Ember was still a shy dragon, and maybe he always would be. But he wasn't lonely anymore. And in that peaceful valley, surrounded by friends who loved him for his quiet kindness, the shy dragon finally found his home. Thank you for listening to our story. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more adventures.